Okay, we missing anybody here? We got Richard, Mike, Pauline, Perry, Cindy, Haley, Terry. Nope. I think that's pretty much it. Except for the people with the wonderful, well, that should be doing this because they're the ones with the cafe. Okay, so forgive me, you guys are over there on my one monitor. This is going to be a bit of a gong show. Actually, let me start this recording first. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a bit of a gong show because we've got to do some cooking and some shooting of the food. I couldn't get everything ready in time to get the hot dish prepared, so we've got a couple cold dishes that we're going to shoot out outside in the studio first. But I got to still prep some of the stuff for the main dish. So let me just switch over, if I can, to here. And we have a nice piece of steak here. And we have some potatoes that are going to be roasted, and some beans, and just a bunch of carrots that are drying off there on a piece of paper towel. So not only are you going to see me photograph this, but the beginning part of this is actually going to be how I'm preparing this as well. Not that I am a chef by any stretch of the imagination. So the plan is to have all of this done in about a half an hour. Actually 45 minutes-ish from here. So that's why we're going to do this quickly, and then we'll go out and do the other two shoots for the first 45 minutes, and then hopefully everything will start binging all at once in here, and we can pull the hot stuff out. So I've got a bunch of cool little things going on here. I don't know how much you guys know about cooking. Is anybody here like really crazy into cooking? Nobody? Okay, can you hear me now? I was muted by somebody. I don't know who muted me. Somebody muted me. Anyhow, so is that what it is? I can barely hear myself think. I don't need to hear myself talk twice, I guess. Okay, anyways, so I've got, nobody here is like a big chef or anything, so I'm not gonna have to worry about my chef skills here. Okay, good. I was worried that somebody had done culinary, and I was like, oh no. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to do some cooked carrots with some maple syrup in my Instant Pot here. I have two water baths back here, and those are sous vide. So we're going to be cooking the beans and the steak each in individual little bags at the desired temperature. So they are perfectly done, and you can't really overcook them. So first we're going to put the steak in, then we'll prep the beans. The potatoes are going to be roasted in the oven here on a cookie sheet. And yeah, so first things first, I just have to season the steak. I'm going to take the steak off here. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so just a bunch of salt and pepper here on my nice piece of steak. Just so I don't have to keep washing my hands. Normally I flip it with my hands, but you don't need to keep hearing me wash my hands. Okay, so the top and the bottom, relatively seasoned. And we'll do the sides. Now this is a pretty nice cut of steak. I don't know, actually, maybe how much did it cost me? Actually, not too bad. $5.50. So it's a top grilling steak. It's not a piece of tenderloin, which is normally what I like personally, but don't we all? Those of us who are not vegetarians, that is. Okay, so I've seasoned the steak. And I'm actually going to go a little bit crazy on this one. And we're gonna go with some Cajun. Make this just a little bit spicier because I gotta eat it, so I might as well make it the way I like it. Ooh, not that one. Ooh, that could have been dangerous. Okay, now I do have to wash my hands, of course. Okay, now roll that around in this stuff a little bit. Okay. So we've got that steak done. We'll wash our hands again. Pardon the sound. That's probably really annoying. And then we're just going to take this and pop it into a bag here. This is just a silicone bag that we're going to seal up. We're going to first grab the olive oil and toss a tiny little bit of olive oil in there. And okay, so this goes in this water bath over here, which is set to, I have it set to 129 degrees. I got to make sure that that is the correct temperature. And the steak is wanting to float at the moment, which is why I have this nice little doohickey over here, which allows me to kind of pinch it in there and hopefully keep it from floating to the surface. It only does that at the beginning of the process. So let's see if I can take this out here. Squeeze that in there like that. Okay. And let me just make sure that that is at the temperature that I want it. So just go to my app. Each of these things has a little Wi-Fi app, so I can set it to cook. Nova. Okay. We're going to go guides with beef and steak. And we want it to be, let's go medium rare. Actually, I'm going to leave it where it is. 129, slightly more rare than, so it tells you the temperature that you're supposed to be cooking it at. Let me just show you here. I can show you the screen. This is the app for the sous vide, and it tells you you can, what temperature you want to cook things at, and for how long. So we're going to do this one here. We're at 129 degrees already, so I'm just going to go and cook that because I like it a little bit more rare than medium rare. So instead of 131, we're at 129, and we're going to go 48 minutes. Fine. 48 minutes should do. And then it will. Now the one is set to go. So we're good. So that's going to cook. If you've never seen something cooked sous vide, which actually in French means under vacuum, it is a very precise method of cooking because it heats the entire steak or whatever you're cooking to the exact temperature and keeps it at that temperature. So you get the exact, if you cook a steak on the barbecue or something, you'll get rare at the middle and well done at the edges. Whereas this cooks it exactly the same all the way through, which is really kind of cool and prevents you from kind of screwing it up, which is good for me because I like to screw things up. So it's in the water bath for 48 minutes. And once we get it out, we're going to have to dry it off, let it rest for a minute or two, and then sear it because it's going to look absolutely like the worst piece of meat you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, we gotta make it look pretty after that, and we'll do that here just on the stovetop. Okay, so next up, we're going to do roasted potatoes. So I've got the roasted potatoes here. Let's switch over to my filming app. Oh, there we go. So those are the roasted potatoes. I've just got some olive oil on them and some salt and pepper and a little bit of seasoning salt. So that's that, and then the beans will be next. So, oopsies. I have Velcro on some of these cords. I need a pan. You guys didn't really expect to get a cooking lesson, did you? And I'm like the last person that should be giving it, so. Okay, just need a little bit of parchment paper here, because this is like the oldest pan in the world. Sorry about the audio there. Okay, just gonna put a little bit of parchment down here and lather my potatoes up a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm just gonna toss a little bit more seasoning salt on there. And these ones will get a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes and herbs as well. So I'll just sprinkle those, and then pull them apart a little bit. Okay. So that has to go in the oven. Actually, I've got it up a little bit high, so I'm gonna actually turn that off and set it for 400 rather than 450, which we have set at. But it should be fine because it'll just get a little bit crispy on the outside. Okay, so 35 minutes for that. Now, finally we got the beans here, and the beans are just going to go into another bag and go into the other sous vide. So we're gonna just toss these in here. Like that. A little bit of olive oil on them as well. And these ones gonna have a tendency to float as well, and I only have the one little doohickey, so I'm gonna pin them to the side with one of my handy clamps that I usually use for photo stuff. Yep. Wow, they're really not liking me. Ooh. That water is considerably hotter. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use the spoon to push these down in. And of course, there's still some air in there, so gotta get the air out, because they'll never sink then. Okay, I got one there, and I'm gonna have to go to the garage for another clamp. So give me 1 second, guys. You're gonna still be able to hear me, I just won't be able to hear you. Okay. Grab my other clamp. Okay. You guys still hear me okay? Okay, good. Okay, so again, this kind of steak's floating up a little bit here, so I'm gonna push that down. Kind of leave that stuck in there like that. Okay, so we've got the two the beans in the pot on the right, and the pot on the left is the meat. We're gonna let those go. So the potatoes in the oven. So the potatoes can go for about 30 minutes, just a little bit under. I think I set it for 35, so probably have to come in a little bit early for those. We'll check those. Beans are good for that long. There's 39 minutes left on the steak, So that's a little bit longer than I like, but that's okay. We can deal with that. And just once the beans are done cooking, we can switch them over to the pot with the meat that's in the meat, and then we'll stop cooking, but they'll just stay warm. So that's the nice part about cooking sous vide, is that as soon as you remove it from the water bath, you can bring the temperature down and it'll stop cooking cooking your thing. Okay, finally we've got your cooked carrots, and I'm going to put those in there with a smidge of maple syrup. More than a smidge. My version of a smidge. And take a spoon, make sure those all get covered. And that wonderful goodness. Okay, there we go. And finally, we've got about a half a cup of water that goes in there, or so. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on that Instant Pot and plug it in. That always helps. But those only take about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna pop back in here and do those in a few minutes. Let me just set my watch so I don't miss that. In 15 minutes I should come in. There we go. Okay, so that's all set. I need one plate for what we're gonna do outside, or not outside. And then don't need a knife and fork. I've got glass, probably need some cranberry juice. So we'll go outside and we'll do the other stuff. Oh, I need a knife. So give me just a minute here while I transition this to the other setup, and hopefully we'll see you. I'm just gonna go with black screen and hopefully mute my mic, and hopefully you'll will be still on air when I come back in a minute. Okay, just give me a sec, guys. Okay, should have my mic working again, and my video should be going from the GoPro at the moment. So, last thing to do is to hook up the camera we're shooting with and the flashes for it. Okay, so got Sony a7R IV here, and we're gonna go with a, let's see here, the 7200, just for the heck of it, because I got it close by. Okay, there's that. And one last thing that I've got to do is find that cord in my maze. here is the maze of cables that I just pulled out of the other room. So give me a second. Nope, that one went in the wrong one. There we go. Or did I leave it in there? I think I left it in there. Let's see if I got another one. Nope. Okay, 1 second while I grab the other cable. So we're going to tether back to the screen again with A7R4, at least that's the plan. Try to Velcro these two together. Okay. Yeah. So, everybody okay hearing me? We're all good?
All good. All good.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start with something really simple. Two croissants and what looks like a Lambton coffee cup. And I'm going to use my, I've mounted my 8600, my Godox 8600 up here, and it's on the boom arm that normally is my continuous light. So we're going to turn that on here. And instead of the snoot here, we're going to go with the large softbox. And we'll first shoot a picture with it directly overhead. And then we'll start moving the softbox around to hopefully see all of the better angles you can put it at. Okay, so I'm going to move this up a little bit and tilt my head down on that and bring out the boom. Okay, so we're essentially top down on this now. I guess I should make sure that I have Capture One running. And I will need to have my ATEM software running too. Oh, and that's taken 15 minutes. So we're gonna have to go and quickly start that other. First, we'll just take one picture here. Make sure you guys can see it. We'll go full screen on this. And just like that. What am I doing? I'm losing my marbles. Okay. Switch to 4. Yep. Put me in there. Okay. So we're just going to see how this looks first. Settings are ISO 100. And then we've got shutter speed. My max sync speed is 1/160th. And we're going to start out at 2.8. Flash head. Was it full power? I'm going to be at full power now. 16th power. We're just going to do one quick shot here. Okay, obviously I have it out of focus, but you guys get the point. Okay, so I'm going to grab that, put that Instant Pot on. Okay, so we're back with our not so wonderful setup here. Let me just shoot this a little bit better. Slightly higher angle. Yeah, I still don't like that. It's too bright. So let's first drop my aperture down. Let's go f5 instead. See how that looks. It looks better, but it's still rather ghastly if you ask me. So two things wrong with this. First off, well, maybe I can get your opinions. What do you think's wrong with this? Anybody?
Well, looks out of focus.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit out of focus on the Lambton College. So that's one thing. And then anything else?
I positioned the mug differently.
Okay. And the light? Kind of blah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not illuminating the front of the mug.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
The front of the mug looks really dark compared to the inside and the top and the handle.
Right. Okay, so I'm first gonna drop my softbox down to a lower angle, and I'm gonna make it kind of look like a morning light kind of deal, and be a little bit more in front. So let's just see here.
Jeff, what's your objective here with this shot?
I'm looking for something that looks like a morning Lambton College ad for maybe something in the cafeteria. Come and have your morning coffee here or something like that. That kind of a style. Sound okay? Reasonable? Okay, so I don't really like that either. I'm gonna check and see if I can. I'm gonna change the background up a little bit here. I've got a piece of foam core that I'm gonna put back here, in behind it, and see if we shoot into something darker that it's going to be a little more interesting.
Hey, Jeff, would you consider pulling your subjects a little closer to the front so that it blurs more of the back?
So bring it closer to me.
Yeah, bring it closer to the foreground. Your three objects.
Okay, let me just
separation with the background.
Oh, so bring that the whole thing closer to me. Okay. Is that kind of what you're looking at?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So I kind of like that. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tilt here so I can be on the same angle as the one croissant. I think I want to be a little bit lower angle. Looking a little bit better. I'd say a bit better. Guess I could make it so that I've got that a little bit of separation there between the actual mug. Maybe that's a little bit too much. The other thing you got to look at is reflections, or shadows. So if I were to get my little piece of white that I happen to cut off of a project I did for my kid, and bounce that back in, we're going to now have a little bit of a bounce to light up the other side. So I'm going to try that here. Maybe that's too much. We'll bring that around a little bit. Okay. So now we got a little bit. These Velcro things are going to be the death of me here. This picture here versus the one we had here. So you can see how just that little piece of wood has bounced everything back. Now I'm a little bit hot, I think. Maybe a third of a stop over. Something like that. Other option is I can bring that flash down or close down my aperture a little bit as well. So let's actually do that. And I'm gonna bring this light a little bit off. Yeah, that should be fine. And then I gotta go tend to whatever is beeping at me in the kitchen. Okay. So that's looking okay. Nothing overly special. When I go grab that, whatever's beeping at me, I'm going to also grab a little bit of icing sugar and see if we can sprinkle it on top of that and make it look a little dusted. Give me 1 second here. bit of icing sugar here. And we're just gonna dust around with a little bit. Some icing sugar. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna move this so that it doesn't have quite the same angle as before. And then of course something else is beeping at me. So we'll do this and this and this. Okay. A little bit more. I'm going to go like this. The reason that I'm turning that because I'm seeing that reflection in the side of the Lambton College mug. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, we'll take that those roasted potatoes out, and then I'll set up one more light stand. We're actually going to backlight the mug instead of just trying to reflect it, because I'm getting that odd reflection there. So once again, give me a second. Okay, roast potatoes are out of the oven. Don't remember whether I turned off the oven, but we'll have to go back for that in just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my itty bitty light stand over here. Grab my other light with a small softbox, and hopefully we can set this up so that it will give us a nice backlight or a rim light. Got a kiss of this. Fill in a few of the shadows. Okay, so this is group E. That's group E. Okay. Okay, taking that out. See how it looks with, just make sure that pops. That pop. Not so sure. A little too much from the background. That was at 8 or a quarter power almost. So let's go down to 16th. Try that again. Okay. Any suggestions? Let's see if I try this. Just don't like quite the angle that I was on, but otherwise, I'm liking that. I don't know about you guys. But I might end up eating my kid's croissant. I'm okay with it. I don't love it. Let me just see how it looks with it. Come on. One more try and then I'll go and hopefully plate our food. Not my favorite croissant image, but I don't know about you guys. Is that reasonably acceptable, or do we have a lot of work to do?
Jeff, I'm wondering, wouldn't you want all the croissant to be in focus? I mean, this is a croissant you're trying to sell.
It shouldn't have to sell like a croissant. It sells itself. What?
I was sold the second it came up on the screen.
I hear you, and let's do that then. One more last shot. Then I'm gonna crank my ISO up to 1000, and we'll drop my aperture, and I'm even gonna crank my backlight a little bit here. Okay, just play with aperture on this one. No, I can't. Wait a second. Yeah, one more step. Maybe a little hot at the back still. Back down to a quarter power. I don't know whether I like how soft the light is coming from the back. Maybe in a second we'll try it with a harder light. I'm just going to pull that. At least stop the beeping momentarily. Okay, after that, just 1 second. We'll finish up with this one. I'm going to just go considerably harsher. Oops, I needed to try that then. That's not fun. Beauty dish. Okay, so I'm going to go with the beauty dish with the grid. Just fix the internals of the beauty dish. Okay, so this will make the light harsher and a lot more direction. Okay. Try this again. See how that looks with the beauty dish instead. A lot more like morning light there. I don't know about you, but that looks a little bit more scrumptious to me. You can always do it from the angle here as well. Are we better? Or is that worse? That versus the soft. See here. That's the soft light. And there's the harsh light, or the harder light, I should say.
I like that one.
Sort of my preference too, but anyhow. So lots of little tools that you can use, whether you want harsh light, soft light. Usually, especially if it's a breakfast food, you want to have it at fairly low angle. You don't really want to be lighting it overhead. Actually, we're going to just do one more here. I'm going to just pop this guy back in, and I'm going to shoot this overhead. Let me do this. No, that's not my stool. Here's my stool. Would have been bad. Would not have worked very well if I did. That backdrop. Okay, getting on precarious ladder. maybe I shouldn't have my weirdo box in the way either. I still think it's a little too bright. Just crank it and see how it looks. Definitely not where I was wanting to go. Okay, enough with me fiddling. This is a whole lot easier when you're in person. I don't have to be looking at screens and all that kind of stuff. We'll go really low on this light. Definitely not what I was looking for. Anyhow, okay, enough with this. Let's get on to the main course. Although I would have been satisfied with just croissant, but anyhow. Steak is where it's at, I guess. For those of you who are not vegan or vegetarian. All right, cutting board up here. Crazy. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna bring my camera around over here. Get rid of this guy. And these things. I guess we're not gonna get to the cheese until maybe after that, if you guys still want to. Those tomatoes and then the veg. Just for the heck of it, we've got a tablecloth that we're going to use here that I had so nicely just steamed, and then I threw it crumpled. Okay. Let's try this one last time. Okay. Our lid to be nice and taut. The nicest tablecloth in the world, but it'll do. So, I probably should. I don't know how I can do this. I will try to bring it out here to plate. See if I can do that. First, we'll just do this, and I will bring out the ingredients. Okay. Okay, so I've got the steak, but I haven't seared it yet, and I'll show you what it looks like. Not the most appetizing piece of meat in the world. So we're gonna just throw it onto the grill or onto the stovetop at high heat for a very, very short amount of time, and then we will get that on the actual plate, not this one that I just brought. I'll show you. Okay, so that heats up. Set here, and we're gonna. That was good, wasn't it? Okay, so we have smashed carrots here. Find a few that do not have any residue of plate on them, hopefully. The nicer looking ones. Let's just place these on the plate here. Grab a couple of the beans as well. Okay. Remind me not to eat the carrots, folks. Some of my roasted potatoes here. Okay. That it's down here. My wife is gonna be so happy with me. Okay, one broken dish out of the way. saturating this time. You guys still hearing me okay? Or did the your ears all blow out when I smashed the dish? Okay. So here's what the steak looks like now. Which is way better. I'm going to take that out and place it nicely on the plate between the greens. Like so. There we go. Now I should have folded this already before, but I totally forgot until this moment, and I can't. Make it again. There we go. My fancy $7 napkins from Walmart from last night. Now I'm sure that somebody's going to tell me that I've got to do this a certain way, and I'm sure that there is a wonderful way to do this, but I am not going to do it that way because I don't know. And my wife is at home, so okay. That. Get my cranberry juice out here, which I've now spilled. Doing so well today. Grab a piece of paper towel. Set that up. Okay. So, I'm trying to get my backlight there. Let's just see here. Okay, so my original thought was to try to make this look like a table at the keg, but right now I am just going for looking scrumptious. Scrumptious is definitely not where we're at with this. Okay, once again, probably want to have a relatively low light in terms of how high up it is. We don't want a direct overhead light. That never looks great. I was going to have one stuff in the background here. Let's try this. And I tend to like steak backlit, but so that's not bad to me. I'm going to take what was my key light before. We're still seeing that. And bring it back again this way. And we're going to light this totally almost from behind with a tiny little bit of bounce in a minute. So let's see how that looks. That one is D up there, right? You want to see what I'm doing? I see. Maybe not. So I'm going to crank D. Focus is not where I want on this one, but that is the output. Okay, so I don't mind the food, the light on the food, but I'm not liking that my wall is darker than my table. And once again, I'm hooked up. Anybody have any thoughts or comments here while I flail about? Sorry, my camera is deciding that it wants to track the tablecloth and not the meat. Okay, let's move this back again. I much prefer the angle of the light.
I'm noticing that on the wine glass side of the wall, it's a little bit brighter and more matches the color of the table. Maybe if you shot from a different, like from my view, it would be the left, the opposite side of the wine glass.
Okay. Try that. So sort of shoot back into it, like this. That kind of what you're thinking of?
Yep. That was exactly what I was thinking.
I agree. I like that a lot better. Let's just add one more light and then we can do that. So I'm just going to take a little speed light here and make that a little backlight. Just sit here. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to aim that at the wall behind. That's at full power. I don't need to be at full power. Just drag it down to quarter. A little too much, but I kind of like where we're going now. Okay, a little too much. Crank that down. Not liking how that wine glass is reacting to this too much. But the food looks pretty good. That just needs a little bit lower angle so that there's not a gap there. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to manual focus here because my focus tracking is just all over the place. Okay, and I think I want a little bit of bounce back in on this side here. So I'm gonna add, sorry, you guys aren't seeing this. Apologies. I like that pretty much. I don't know about you guys. I think maybe the knife could be a better place. And wine glass. Even get it in there at all. I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna just hand hold the bounce. So it's just out of frame.
That one looks like a magazine shot.
Not too bad.
So Jeff,
Yep.
in this case, you're focusing on the meat, correct?
Yeah.
And not the vegetables so much?
No, they're more for color in the background. I realize that may offend some. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm going at there. I'm gonna try one little tiny more thing here. I've got another flash. Why did that all of a sudden go to sleep? I've got another flash here that I'm gonna put a 8x speed on. And I'm actually going to grid it, see if I can grid it too. Do I have that grid? I thought I had the grid, but I don't think I've got the grid right. Unless that's it. Is that it? Oh, it's on. I had a grid right here, but I guess I do not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just snoot this and just do a little tiny burst right here. Yeah, that's what I think I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one on. Velcro socks don't match. Okay. Okay, so this is on slave. My group is going to be B on this one, so now I can adjust that independently. I'm going to make that 1/128th power. Okay, so let's see here. I think that was the one. Let's just try again. Just a little bit more light there on the front. I'm gonna crank it a little bit higher to 64th power, see what that does. Just to see. There we go. Just lights up that front edge just a tiny little bit more. I'm gonna drop the aperture just one little tiny bit. Maybe 2/3 of this up. No, I think I like it brighter, personally. To me, that just looks a little bit better. But my taste is probably a little bit different than other people's. Okay, we're just gonna,
I like that one.
you like that one?
Yeah, same here because the steak looks brighter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna just do one top down. Hopefully that won't smash anything here. While I'm doing that, they keep the same lighting set up, and we'll see how it looks. Other than this little guy here, I'm gonna see. Actually, we'll shut up both of the two little flashes, and see how it looks from straight down. Ugh. Okay, let me give this a try. No idea it's gonna work. I'm gonna fire the V1 at full power. It's gonna pretty much miss it, I'm pretty sure, but okay, it went. Need to go a little higher with that other flash, so sometimes you just gotta improvise because putting a light stand up and all that kind of jazz would just take too long and probably not give me the effect that I want anyways.